Okay, so it's been about a year since I switched to the Tandem T-slim X2. There was a little 90-day period in there where I was using a Medtronic pump for a trial. But other than that, I've been using the pump, every day. And I want to just give my thoughts, look back on the last year, see what I like, what I didn't like, and really just answer the question, do I regret switching? But first, I wanted to give a little disclaimer. For this video, will be extremely jaded. The reason why, I just got back from Eternals and I had to leave in the middle of the movie and go home because my infusion set stopped working and my blood sugar went really high, and I'm coming down, but I'm still high and I'm not feeling good, and I'm kind of mad because this is the second time that this has happened. The exact same thing happened when I was watching Black Widow. I was watching with my brother, and I just ate a little candy, nothing too crazy, and my blood sugar spiked. My infusion stopped working. Today, I ate Cafe Rio before. Same thing, my blood sugar spiked. My infusion set stopped working, and I'm frustrated. And also, I just want to say that everybody is different, and a lot of my experiences will be unique to me. Some of the things that aren't working and that I don't like will be unique to me, but also some of the benefits and things that I do like will also just be unique to me. So keep in mind how it's going to affect you personally. Just because the Dexcom is the best sensor for me doesn't mean that it will be the best sensor for you and stuff like that. So yeah, let's talk about the infusion sets. I talked about my video when I compared the T-slim to the 780G, which if you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out. I'll put the link up here. But in that video, I talked about how I was kind of worried. I'd used the quick sets my entire life, and I was kind of worried about switching to something entirely different. And I said, they're not that different, and if that's the reason you're worried about switching, don't let that be the reason. And that's still absolutely the case. But oh my gosh, it seems like I never had an infusion set go bad when I was on Medtronic. I would always get the 2.5 to 3 days. And now on this one, it's like I'm getting 2 to 2.5 days, but it's like at least once a month that I have an infusion set fail early. There's no real rhyme or reason to it, but it's led to going really high, and it always seems to happen at the worst time, and that's been really frustrating. Another thing that I wanted to mention or follow up on from that video is the algorithm. I had mentioned in that video that I was a little frustrated that it wasn't as aggressive as I'd liked on correcting highs, especially overnight. If I haven't eaten anything since 8 p.m., when I wake up the next morning, why am I not just a straight 110 throughout the night? Why am I waking up at 146? I kind of expected the algorithm to adapt and adjust and get better, and hoping that I would start waking up not as high. And it's not like I'm waking up at 150, 160 every single day, but I feel like I shouldn't be doing that at all, and it's still happening. And speaking of things that I was hoping would get improved, one of the big reasons that I went with the T-slim X2 is that it could receive software updates. To get new software, I wouldn't need to get a new pump. And the last year, I haven't gotten a single software update. And maybe I've just gotten spoiled that if something's not working great, an app is going to get updated on your phone. Or, yearly software updates, major software upgrades, new version of Android, new version of iOS, whatever. Maybe I've gotten spoiled in that, but I was expecting at least some kind of software update to maybe just improve the algorithm a little bit, or just little tweaks here and there, but that hasn't happened. That being said, it's not all bad news. I still love the Dexcom G6, and it is by far and away the best sensor. It's not perfect for sure. On the average sensor, I probably get 7 or 8 days. It's very rare that I get the full 10. Sometimes I get 9. But what's awesome about that is Dexcom's customer service is legendary. And if I get anything less than 9 days, I just submit a form that takes 4 minutes, and they just ship me a replacement sensor. And because of that, I've been able to build up a pretty healthy stock. It's been awesome. But I mean, it's like, it was comparing that to the 3 or 4 days that I was getting on the Medtronic sensor. And I don't know, I've never dealt with Medtronic's customer service. I don't know if it's as good as Tandem's. I can't speak to that. But just the fact that it's working, twice as long on average for me, and it feels like it's so much more accurate, and there's no finger sticks. It's incredible. And speaking of that, I had kind of speculated that the reason that the Medtronic algorithm is able to be so much more aggressive on correcting and give you other options like how long to make active insulin and stuff is because it was being calibrated every day with finger sticks. 2 finger sticks every single day. If that is the reason, I really wish that there was a way that I could kind of enable that on the T-slim. So if anybody from Tandem ends up watching this video, here's an idea for you. Give the option to let people, calibrate once or twice a day, and to be able to have the algorithm be more aggressive, or to be able to allow them to change their insulin on board time, stuff like that. Another thing that I do really like, and that I mentioned this in my first video, is that it's super nice that it does not require batteries to be changed. It was an adjustment period having to charge my device, every time I get in the shower, but it's so nice not to have to buy batteries and worry about battery life and stuff. It's just hop in the shower and charge it while you're showering, and you don't even need to think about it. Another thing that I mentioned that I really like, and definitely still the case, is I really do love the design so much more than Medtronic's. I love that it's a touchscreen. I still wish that you were able to do more with the touchscreen. Watch that first video if you want some more in-depth analysis on that. But I do. It looks and acts so much more modern than the Medtronic devices. So let's answer the question, do I regret switching? The answer actually is no, and that might be surprising based on how much I've complained about this thing, but the answer is no. And the main reason is because if I hadn't got this, I would be using the Medtronic 780G right now. And it's stupid. So last year I had hit my max out of pocket. I wasn't sure what the future was going to hold. So I felt like with my pump being out of warranty, me hitting the max out of pocket, I felt like I needed to get a new pump right then. And that's stupid that finances play such a big role in the decision making, but at least here in the US, that is absolutely the case. And oddly enough, I ended up hitting my max out of pocket again this year, so it ended up kind of being a moot point. But I would be using the 780G right now if I had not gone with the T-slim. And while I felt like I had stronger control of my blood sugar with the 780G, the conveniences of the T-slim and the Dexcom mostly just simply outweigh that. Having to change my sensors so often with the Medtronic, and having to test my blood sugar so much, and worrying about batteries and stuff. If it was a big difference in my control of blood sugar, then absolutely, it's kind of weighing the convenience versus the control. And if it was a big difference, then absolutely I would go with the control over the convenience. But where it's been a small difference, then, I want to take the convenience. I just am. If Tide Pool is FDA approved right now, and it was working the way that I'm hoping that's going to be working, that answer would probably be different. But, there's a saying in the tech community that you don't buy a product now for hope of future updates. And that absolutely is the case right here. And while we're speaking of future, Tide Pool definitely is still probably in the future for Medtronic. But what they haven't announced is a new next-gen sensor that's going to be smaller, require less finger pricks or anything. But on the T-slim side, there has. Both the Freestyle Libre 3, it's launched in Germany right now. It's going to be rolling out the rest of the world. Dexcom is super close with the G7. Hopefully that's rolling out in the next month or two. And both of these sensors are such big improvements over the current generation ones. They're so much smaller. And it's nothing exciting is really happening on the Medtronic side. About the only thing that is Tide Pool. And that's frustrating because it's not even Medtronic that's developing that. Yeah, that has been my thoughts. Please just keep in mind that you guys may be different, and the Dexcom might not be the best sensor for you, the T-slim might not be the best pump for you, but for me in the current situation, it just is. So yeah, that's been it. That's been my thoughts. As always, please just remember to like and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop them down below. If you guys have any ideas for future videos, I definitely need those. Please pop that down below. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.